For decades, the art of finding the next sports superstar was about gut feeling. A seasoned scout, a worn notebook, and an intangible eye for talent. But that world is fading. Today, the notebook has been replaced by data streams, and the gut feeling by predictive algorithms. We're living through a data-driven revolution in sports, one that's changing the very definition of what it takes to win. This isn't just about adding a few more stats. It's a fundamental reimagining of how talent is found, nurtured, and valued. We're going to explore the cutting-edge tech, the teams using it to dominate, the ethical challenges it creates, and what the future holds for the digital athlete. The seeds of this revolution were actually sown over a century ago with the first baseball box scores. But the real turning point came in the late 1970s, thanks to a man named Bill James, a security guard at a pork and beans cannery who was obsessed with baseball statistics. James argued that traditional stats like batting average were misleading. He created a new discipline he called sabermetrics, which focused on objective evidence to find a player's true value. He championed new metrics like on-base percentage and wins above replacement, arguing they were far better predictors of success. His core idea was profound. By using data to find undervalued skills, a team with a small budget could compete with financial giants. For years, sabermetrics was a niche interest. That all changed in 2002 with the Oakland Athletics, a story many know as Moneyball. General manager Billy Beane, with one of the smallest payrolls in baseball, fully embraced sabermetrics. He used statistical analysis to acquire players overlooked by traditional scouts, but who excelled in these new key metrics. Their shocking success proved that a data-driven approach could level the playing field, and it ignited a fire that spread from baseball to every corner of the sporting world. The traditional scout looked for things like a rocket arm or the five-tool player. These assessments were valuable, but they were also subjective and prone to human bias. The first big technological shift was video. Sending VHS tapes of highlight reels gave way to online platforms like Huddle, which launched in 2006. Suddenly, coaches could review massive numbers of prospects from anywhere and break down game film with incredible detail. This accessibility of video created a vast new dataset, but the analysis was still manual. The true paradigm shift happened when this video evidence merged with the analytics inspired by Moneyball. Teams started building their own analytics departments, hiring data scientists to work alongside traditional scouts. The conversation changed. It was no longer enough for a scout to say a player looked good. They had to back it up with data. This new hybrid model seeks the best of both worlds, the scout's eye for intangibles like work ethic and leadership, combined with the objective, data-driven insights from analytics. The days of scouting as a purely intuitive art are over. Data is now an indispensable part of the process. At the heart of this revolution is an incredible arsenal of technology. The most visible part of this is wearable tech. You've probably seen athletes wearing vests with a little pod between their shoulder blades. Those are GPS trackers. They measure everything: total distance covered, sprint speed, acceleration, and even create heat maps showing where a player operates on the field. A soccer team looking for a high-pressing forward can use this data to find players who consistently cover huge distances at high intensity. It's an objective measure of an athlete's physical engine. Then there's heart rate data. We're all familiar with heart rate monitors, but sports scientists are increasingly focused on something called heart rate variability, or HRV. This measures the tiny variations in time between each heartbeat. A high HRV suggests an athlete is well rested and recovered. A low HRV can be a red flag for fatigue, stress, or overtraining. For a scout, this data offers a glimpse into a player's durability and their ability to handle the grind of a professional season. While wearables track an athlete's output, motion capture technology deconstructs the very mechanics of their movement. This is the same tech used for special effects in Hollywood, now a staple in high-performance sports labs. The gold standard involves an athlete wearing a suit with reflective markers, tracked by high-speed cameras to create a precise 3D model of their skeleton in motion. But new, more accessible markerless motion capture is emerging, which uses AI to analyze movement directly from smartphone video. This biomechanical analysis allows teams to assess things invisible to the naked eye. They can measure movement efficiency to gauge a player's potential for power and speed. They can analyze the fine details of a baseball pitcher's delivery or a basketball player's jump shot to spot flaws. Crucially, they can also identify movement patterns that increase injury risk. For example, analyzing how a soccer player lands from a jump can help predict their risk of an ACL tear. This adds a powerful layer of predictive health data to a scout's evaluation. Of course, this flood of data from wearables and motion capture would be useless without the brains of the operation: data analytics platforms. Companies like Catapult Sports and Huddle offer comprehensive systems that pull everything together. They combine video, wearable data, and traditional stats into one centralized hub. Huddle's Y-Scout platform, for example, is a massive football database with information on over 600,000 players, allowing scouts to search for prospects based on incredibly specific criteria. The most advanced platforms use machine learning to forecast a player's future performance. An algorithm can analyze a player's history and identify patterns that predict success at a higher level, turning raw numbers into actionable intelligence that can change the fate of a franchise. The real impact of this technology is seen on the field. In soccer, Liverpool FC has become a powerhouse by using data to identify undervalued talent. Their 2017 signing of Mohamed Salah is a perfect example. Some doubted his ability to succeed in England after a previous poor spell, but Liverpool's data analysts saw his exceptional speed and his high volume of shots from dangerous areas. They predicted he was a perfect fit for their fast-attacking system. The result? Salah became one of the greatest players in the club's history. Then there's Brentford FC, a smaller English club that has consistently outperformed teams with much larger budgets by relying almost entirely on statistical modeling to find hidden gems in the transfer market. In the NBA, analytics is now standard practice. Teams use predictive models to inform their draft picks, and sophisticated player tracking cameras analyze every movement on the court. Analysts know a player's average speed, their shooting efficiency from every spot on the floor, and their defensive effectiveness. An MIT study even found that for every extra data analyst a team hired, they gained an additional win per season. Even the NFL, a sport so complex it was once thought to be resistant to analytics, is catching up. The league's next-gen stats program uses RFID chips in player shoulder pads to track everything from a quarterback's time to throw to a receiver's separation from a defender. This data is challenging long-held beliefs, like the idea that teams should almost always punt on fourth down. Analysis has shown that being aggressive is often the statistically optimal play, and we're seeing that shift in coaching philosophy in real time. But this data-driven world is not a perfect utopia. It comes with significant challenges and ethical questions. First, there's the limitation of what data can actually measure. You can't quantify a player's leadership, their mental toughness, or how they contribute to team chemistry. An over-reliance on numbers risks overlooking players who possess these crucial, intangible qualities. The most successful organizations understand this, blending data with the human insights of traditional scouts. Another serious concern is algorithmic bias. The AI models used to predict player success are only as good as the historical data they're trained on. If that data reflects existing biases against players from certain regions or those with unconventional styles, the algorithm will learn and amplify those biases, systematically overlooking talented athletes. Finally, there are the profound ethical questions around data privacy. Wearable tech collects incredibly sensitive health information. Who owns this data? The athlete, the team, or the tech company? Can it be used against a player in contract negotiations? In Europe, GDPR provides some protection, but in professional sports, athletes may feel pressured to consent to data collection, fearing it could hurt their career if they refuse. This creates a power imbalance that needs to be addressed. As we look to the future, the pace of change is only accelerating. Artificial intelligence will become even more sophisticated, running simulations to predict how a player might perform in a completely different league or tactical system. One of the most exciting future trends is the digital twin, a dynamic virtual replica of an individual athlete. This model would integrate physiological, biomechanical, and performance data to run what-if scenarios. Teams could test how a player might respond to a new training program or how their body might hold up over a long season, all in a virtual environment. The next great frontier is quantifying the mental side of the game. Technologies like EEG to measure brainwaves for focus, eye tracking to understand decision-making, and virtual reality simulations to test athletes under pressure are all emerging. This will allow for a truly holistic evaluation of a player, combining their physical, technical, and mental makeup. The data revolution has forever changed sports. The scout's intuition is no longer enough. It's now one piece of a much larger, more complex puzzle. By blending the art of human experience with the science of data analytics, we are not just getting better at finding the next superstar. We are pushing the known boundaries of human performance and ushering in a brand new era of sporting excellence. The game has changed, and there is no turning back.